Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're out in the garage today and I'm going to show some of the stuff that I've been working on with another club member of the club I'm in. His name's Bob. But we've been working on another new pair of modules that will be a set. And the reason for that is the next show that we're going to be participating in is very limited on the space that we can utilize, and it means that we need to do a linear layout, so we can't use any of our corner modules, which in turn makes it a little difficult to use our yard where it's a T and it Y's off from the main line. In fact, it means we can't use it at all. And so what we decided to do was, work on a new set of modules. I've had the idea toying around for a little while about doing an inline yard, and it now just became a need. And so here is the yard that we've been working on. It's two 6-foot modules for, a total of 12 feet. And we'll wrap around and show the plan of what it is. There are slight changes, like we aren't using re-railers here. We'll be using them in other spots, but we also have an additional switch that I was able to find. And so that's put in there to give us 2 additional lines for the stub end tracks, because I'll show it up on the top of the module, but that is the plan. And then the modules themselves, we've got the cork laid 2 days ago. Yesterday we both had some other plans and we weren't able to get to anything with it. The next thing that we need to do is some of the cork is coming up, and I need to go through and sand that down just to make it level again. And if you've used cork before, but there's just this really rough edge on this back side that I need to take a X-Acto to and just trim up so that it looks good as the front side. But that's what I'll be working on today. But with the 3 stub end tracks, the back line, which is what we call our yellow line, is which the trains go in that direction. And so we have it be stub end on this side going this way, so the trains just pull out and go off. And then the yard tracks can be used for temporary parking while you go and do something or whatnot. But that's what we're working on for the next little bit. I've got about a month to get this done and ready and operational. The hope is that everything will be scenic on it. So ballast, I probably won't do in between the switches, just given the time frame that we have, but we'll see how it goes. So that is what I've been working on, or we've been working on. We went through and a little bit ago bought the plywood, and Bob had some plywood spare that we ripped into 1x3s or whatever it is, into 3-inch lengths. And, just pretty basic module construction. Did L braces on for the legs with the 2x2 post for the leveling bolt. Another couple of club members have been utilizing these type of legs, and I think we've just kind of adopted that because it works really well. So the plan for today is to get this sanded down, get the cork looking good, and then we'll try and work on track tomorrow. And, hope that works out. Like I said, we only have a month until the next show. So that's the plan. And then I will be back after I get all the sanding and that done to show it and show a little bit more of kind of the ideas that I've got with the modules. So we'll be back in just a bit. All right, I've got the cork cleaned up. There's a few spots here and there that need a little bit of touch up, but we'll deal with that tomorrow as we're laying track. Today that I'm filming, we both had some other obligations and wouldn't be able to do any track work. So we held off on that and decided just to let me do some odds and ends and work on some other stuff. So what we'll do is discuss a little bit of the changes that we made along the way and some of the logistics on this side. And then we'll follow the red line down and discuss some stuff on that side of the modules as the lighting's better. So let's get into it. The first thing was that I had originally made the plan to come out 6 inches on the front, as that is part of our standards that we can do that. And then that would give, through track yard on both sides of the main. However, to accomplish that, I would have come back about a foot, cut in on an angle, and then went, 10 inches, or I think it was more like 8 inches in on the backside, so that the yard could be accessed from both sides on the inside of the layout if we had this at another show that wasn't space restricted. But logistically, transporting and storing the modules, that would have been a nightmare. So we scrapped that idea and just did the through tracks here and then added stub yards tracks. One, it saves a little bit of money. We didn't need as many switches, but also worked out that way. It was a little nicer. I did, however, keep one siding on the front of it. Just thought it would be kind of nice to have one there that if something were to come up as an emergency and you are on the red line, you can pull off, store it for a second, and then go once you get back. But the other thought was it would be kind of cool to have a station up here. And as you can see, it doesn't really work out space-wise, at least with this one. And we thought, well, maybe we can put it back here, but then you're ruining the switches. I had thought maybe of doing a road, and I didn't know if that would work out. I thought about doing the turnout control over here on the front of the board of the modules, and ultimately just decided that turnout control will be by the turnouts and scrap this idea of the station just because it wouldn't work out. And got thinking about, well, we could do something like this and have a platform and simulate that the station is just off, the side of the module, and found this 3D printed platform that I think will work out pretty well. I may end up just designing one myself as well. I don't know. We'll see how Timeways goes. I do like how the pavilion piece is, or the roof is there. And this was actually designed for Easy Track. And so it had kind of a piece that would angle up and over what would be the road bed. And I don't know if I'll keep that. I wasn't thinking about the cork, so I may print out one as kind of a test with that. But either way, I do like how the pavilion piece hangs over with that little cut. So I don't know, we'll see. That's kind of later down the works. But I'm thinking of also just chopping this one up a little bit and making a really long one that I can do in these pieces, glue them together, and then kind of go from there. The downside of this longer piece is the printer that I have access to isn't the best. It's an older one, and it likes to peel up off of the bed no matter what I've done to it. And so it's just at the point that smaller pieces will print really well. And so we'll kind of go from there, I think. The other thing that will be along the fascia is kill switches for each of the tracks of the yard tracks. That way, if there's something parked there, you can kill the power if you want to. But you don't have to, kind of thing. The other thing is, while looking online to figure out the way I wanted to throw the turnouts, I didn't want to do tortoises. I didn't want to do any of the, the electronic way, just because of this is a club module. It's only going to be used every so often. And I didn't want to deal with the maintenance of that if something were to break. And so our club president, he uses the double pole is it single pole, double throw? I can't remember. Switches on his and just puts it in and links it to the tie bar and then powers the frog through this switch. And I like that idea. And then looking online, I was trying to figure out how is the yard going to be, because I wanted to come out and around instead of going straight through for the main line. And I knew there would be instances of, okay, well, is the yard lined up? Am I going to hit anything? And saw somebody, I can't remember off the top of my head, that had used double pole, double throw, and then linked that to a signal to show which way the track was going. And so I had also found 3D printed signals that I can easily make up. I've got the LEDs ordered that I need, or I already have a lot of them. And so what it'll do is that the dwarf signal will be linked to the switch as well. So if it's going out and around like it should be for the main line, it'll be green. If at any point one of the switches is flipped for one of the siding tracks, it'll give a yellow on it. I don't have a battery out here, or I'd light this up because it is working. But that is what that is. And as I was saying, I do want to go have the main line go out and around. I thought that'd be something cool and different than what is normally on a yard module, or at least what I've seen in, with at least the similar standards for clubs that are around here. And went that it was going and talked with the club. They liked the idea, so that's what we're going to do, and just have it be mainline goes out and around and go from there. The last thing that I'll touch on, as it is electronic as well, we do have signals that are, for the rest of the modules. And one of the things that is a challenge with our current yard is if you don't turn off the track power to the yard, it will give a false red because of how the current detection is set up with the modules. So what we've decided is that each track that isn't the main line, and then the 3 stub, will be on a separate PSX breaker that will not be linked to the signaling system. It'll just be power. So that way the yard is still protected with shorts, but we won't get false reds either. So that's kind of the plan for the wiring up of what we need to do. So we're hoping that all the track will get laid tomorrow. Most of the wiring will get done, if not all of it, by this is Sunday. Hoping before Thursday, it's all wired up. It's kind of a long shot, but that's what we're going to do and kind of shoot for. So that's that for this video. It's kind of getting long. I apologize. It was a little long-winded, but thanks for watching, and we'll see everybody with the next update.